Hey guys, it's me, Seren, back with another video. Today is day 26 of Hidden Figures, and today's hidden figure is Lelia Walker, who is the daughter of Madam C.J. Walker. Lelia Walker was born Lelia McWilliams in Vicksburg, Mississippi on June 6, 1885, the daughter of Moses McWilliams and Sarah Breedlove, who would later be known as Madam C.J. Walker and the first self-made black millionaire. Lelia's father died when she was 2, and her mother later married Charles Joseph Walker, a newspaper advertising salesman. Lelia grew up in St. Louis, Missouri, in the same neighborhood as famous Black American musician Scott Joplin, writer of The Entertainer, which, for any of you, we all know that one. That was written by a black guy. And she attended Knoxville College in Tennessee before entering the family business as an independent hairdresser and retailer of cosmetics creams. Lelia Walker became president of her mother's company in 1919 and remained in that position until her death in August 1931. She initiated a number of successful marketing campaigns to promote the company and remained the face of the Walker Company after her mother's death. During the 1920s, Lelia Walker immersed herself in Harlem's dynamic social life as a patron of the arts and hostess of some of the era's most notable social gatherings. She hosted many musicians, actors, writers, artists, political figures, and socialites in the Walker family mansion at 108-110 West 136th Street near Lenox Avenue. The Walker Mansion was a brick and limestone building designed by Vertner Tandy, a founder of Alpha Phi Alpha fraternity and the first black architect licensed in New York State. In October 1927, Lelia converted a floor of the home into what she called the Dark Tower, a cultural salon that became legendary as one of the gathering places of the era, a place where Harlem's talented artists socialized with their Greenwich Village counterparts as well as with European and African royalty. Lelia also entertained at Villa Lewaro, another mansion property and country home in Westchester County named for her initials. She also entertained at a pied-à-terre apartment that she owned on Edgecombe Avenue in Harlem. Across her numerous properties, she threw elegant soirees for all that were also known as one of the few spaces open to black queer people. This contributed to luring luminaries into Harlem to participate in the Harlem Renaissance, and Lelia gained a reputation amongst artists and intellectuals for her open-door policy and that's what they called them, mixed parties of all genders and sexualities, where everyone who was anyone attended, dining on decadent meals, drinking the most expensive champagne, and reveling in such luxurious decorations as Persian carpets and fine paintings. As an heiress, black socialite, and dedicated patron of the Harlem Renaissance, Lelia was known for creating spaces for black artists and intellectuals to meet and mingle. She was called the Joy Goddess by writer Langston Hughes, who also wrote in his autobiography that her parties were filled with guests whose names would turn any social climber green with envy. And I also want to say that this reminds me of the legendary parties of Gertrude Stein in Paris, where all these white creatives went and sort of ran into each other. Gertrude Stein was a very famous publisher. She would throw these parties, and like Picasso would go, and Hemingway, the Fitzgeralds. This is basically like the black version of that, you know. This also reminded me of Mary Cardwell Dawson, who I've done a Hidden Figures on, and I've also been to her home, her former home in Pittsburgh, which is a national historic site. Mary Cardwell Dawson was founder of the National Negro Opera, and her home in Pittsburgh was known as the Mystery Manor. It served as this sort of hub for the black elite and black creatives in Pittsburgh, just black women really creating these thriving art spaces for black creatives because there was nowhere for us to go. And then seeing how this kind of incredible black arts culture growing around it and growing out of it in Pittsburgh and Harlem, it's just really, really incredible to learn about these kind of stories. So moving on. Unfortunately, the Walker Company's sales began to suffer in 1929 with the beginning of the Great Depression, along with increased expenditures after opening a new $1 million headquarters and manufacturing facility in late 1927. Despite ceasing her parties and selling valuable property, art, and antiques, the company continued to decline, and just a few short years later, Lelia Walker died on August 17, 1931, of a cerebral hemorrhage brought on by hypertension. Thousands of Harlemites and respected Black figures attended her funeral. Lelia's adopted daughter, May Walker, became president of the Walker Company in 1931 until her death in 1945, and May's daughter, Lelia May Perry Bundles, who died in 1976, succeeded her mother as president of the company. In 1981, the Madam C.J. Walker Manufacturing Company officially ceased all operations. Today, the company's building is known as the Madam Walker Theater Center and is a National Historic Landmark. History has unfortunately been unkind to Lelia Walker, who has often been written about as nothing more than a frivolous party girl who wasted her mother's money. Yet her granddaughter, who is also named Lelia Bundles, said about her, "These parties had all the artists, musicians, writers, actors who were part of the Harlem Renaissance, but it was also the newspaper publishers, the civil rights leaders, everybody at some point. She provided a central location for the Harlem Renaissance to flourish." Lelia Walker, a hidden figure. There will be information in the description box. I actually heard about this because there was recently a few articles ran on Lelia Walker. I will include all of those in the description box as well. Food for thought as always. See you guys next time. Peace.